Sure.
Sure.
All right. So good morning, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen with you. We'll start with a short presentation. I'll just go through an update on the current scenario, and then we'll go through a bit of basic information about the university and what we teach. Then I think we can go on to the targeted questions regarding the programs, because that'll be most useful for all of you. So just bear with me. The presentation up on their screens now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right, so my name is Andrea. I'm the International Regional Manager for Victoria University of Wellington, and I look after the regions of South Asia and the Middle East. I'm based in Mumbai full-time, so very easy to get into the same time zone as all of you. I do usually travel around quite a bit, going to Medway events in person when things are normal. So I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to meet with you all virtually today, since the face-to-face meetings are no longer possible. On the screen in front of you, you can see the beautiful city of Wellington. That's our lovely harbour there. Now, I'm going to keep this brief, but I'm going to give you the updates about what the current scenario is. I'll briefly show you the types of programs that we teach in the university facilities, then we'll go into the question and answers. So, current COVID-19 update. As some of you may know, New Zealand has been doing very well with its response to the COVID-19 virus. We've had some fantastic leadership from Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern. They did put in the lockdown in place very early. There was a very clear explanation of everything that needed to be done by people. And I think the people in New Zealand have been abiding very well by the rules, which is why we are now ready to downgrade to level 2 on Thursday. What this means is that life is slowly going back to normal. They're not seeing many new cases. And I believe that probably within the next month or so, things should be almost back to normal within New Zealand. So what did the government do for the international students who were already there? And what did the university do as well? Because it's important to know when you're choosing a study destination about how your host government will be treating you once you arrive in country. So New Zealand did ensure that the international students who were in the country were looked after. There was no pressure on anyone to return home. I don't think any of my Indian students did end up going home. Everybody remained in New Zealand. International students who were working part-time, if they were unable to go to work, they were included in the wage subsidy so that they could continue receiving their salaries and that they wouldn't lose their jobs. International students who were working in essential services, so for example, supermarkets or the healthcare sector, were also allowed to work full-time while the university was shut down and while the crisis was in forefront. What the university has done for the students. So those who were staying in the hostels, we ensured that they were consolidated into a few different hostels so that they could receive adequate care, they could be well looked after. We've been having outreach to our students so that if they do need any additional counselling, any academic learning support while they're now studying online, that this is available to them through phone calls, video links. We have also instituted a student hardship fund. So if any students are struggling financially due to the crisis, they're able to receive assistance from the university. So what is the current scenario and the reopening of borders? The simple answer is we don't know yet when borders will reopen. The Education Minister has made an announcement that they are looking at options for allowing international students to enter and then to undergo a 2-week quarantine period before they go into the community. So they are currently exploring the options. It does look like they will allow international students to enter earlier than anyone else. So for example, before tourism starts, we will definitely see a return to international education. But we are still waiting on the government to make the final decision about what type of dates they're looking at. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that come into play here. It's not just on how well New Zealand has handled the crisis. It could also depend on how well individual countries are handling it and what the rate of incidence there is. There's also visas are not currently being processed, so we need Immigration New Zealand to reopen its office again here and start processing student visas once more. And there are no flights at present. So realistically speaking, I do not think that students will be able to arrive in New Zealand for July. online study might be possible for July, but I do not think it will be possible to be physically in campus. If everything goes well, it is possible that students might be able to arrive in person for our November intake. And I'm even more optimistic than that it will be possible to arrive by February 2021. So there's a number of different scenarios here, and the decision that you have to make does rest quite heavily on which intake you are actually interested in. If you are interested in starting your study in July this year, then you may need to make a choice between either starting your study online or deferring it to next year sometime. If you are interested in a program that has a November intake this year or February intake next year, then my advice is to apply as per normal, start preparing, and just wait and watch to see what the scenario is as it develops. Online study is not for everyone. Some people do very well at it. Some people find it very challenging to not be in a classroom situation and be, to be doing their own self-paced learning. You have to make the right decision for you and your learning outcomes. Another very important consideration is your post-study work rights. So if you are interested in a postgraduate diploma or in a graduate diploma, you should not start online, because if that happens, you will not be in New Zealand for long enough to get your post-study work rights afterwards. If you're doing a master's, it should still be all right in terms of the number of weeks you'll spend in New Zealand. So just make sure that you're seeking some further information about that you know how long you'll be in New Zealand for after your online study, so that you can get your work visa afterwards. So when do you need to make a decision? Depends on your intake. If your intake is November, or if it's February next year, then you don't need to make a decision as of now. You can wait and watch. You can see how the scenario develops. If it's July this year, then I would say that you probably do need to start making your decision at least by the end of this month, so that you know whether you're starting online or you're deferring. So a bit about Wellington. It's the capital city of New Zealand. Really lovely city. It's quite compact, only about 2.5 kilometres across, but it feels like a big city when you go there. So it's a centre of government. It's got a big IT sector. It's got a fantastic creative industry sector as well. It's got the big four, KPMG, Ernst & Young, Deloitte. And it has been ranked the world's most livable city 2 years in a row, 2017 and 2018, by Deutsche Bank. Apart from that, Lonely Planet has also called it the coolest little capital in the world. So apart from a fantastic university to study at, you also receive a wonderful place to live in, work in. There's so many things to do there. You've got nature, you've got nightlife, whatever you could possibly be interested in. As a university, we are in the top 2% of universities worldwide. We're ranked number 215 in the world this year in QS, and we are the third ranked university in New Zealand. We do also have a number of subjects which are in the top 100 worldwide. And this year we were given 5+ QS stars for excellence, one of only 12 universities in the world to achieve that. We have around 22,000 students, of which around 3,800 are international, and Indian students are my 5th largest group, about 190 at present. Just going to skip through this quickly. We'll talk about entry requirements in detail later. We've got 3 campuses. Number 1 is Kelburn, where the majority of our subjects are taught. Number 2 is Pipatea, where we teach business and law subjects. And number 3 is Te Aro, which is our specialty architecture and design campus. All right, post-study work rights. I think your counsellors will have told you about this already. Bachelor's degrees, postgraduate diplomas, masters and PhDs receive 3 years. Graduate diplomas, because we're outside of Auckland, receive 2 years. All right, so I'm not going to go into detail here because we have a lot of different programs, a lot of different faculties. I'm just going to very briefly stop on each page so you can see the types of programs that we offer. We do have a Triple Crown accredited business school. We are also in the top 100 worldwide for law. We're in the top 150 worldwide for architecture and design. Humanities and social sciences, top 1% worldwide. Yep. Science, there's a number of very highly ranked subjects in there, some great options for studies. Health, Masters and Postgraduate Diploma of Health has been very popular with students from the region. We have some teaching programs, and engineering, of course, is always very popular. What type of support can you look forward to as an international student at the university? Everything from when you arrive, a free airport arrival meeting service where there's someone friendly waiting at the baggage carousel to pick you up and take you to your accommodation, to a fantastic orientation. We have visa officer and an insurance officer based on campus to help you if you do need to make a health insurance claim or have your visa extended. There's a buddy program. We run a couple of extracurricular programs of our own, one to do with international leadership and the other to do with volunteering. Apart from that, we do have support services for learning support and academic advice, for your career guidance, for finance if you need help with your budgeting. Basically, whatever you need at the university, there is a department there or a person there who can help you with it. We also have student accommodation. So we call them halls of residence. We have 13 that are spread out throughout the city. There's a great deal of variety in terms of what you can choose. So you can have your own room, you can share a room with another student, you can take an option where you have 3 meals a day provided to you, or you can take an option where it's more like an apartment setup and you are cooking for yourself. So there's different budgets involved, there's different options. And I'm happy to talk you through them once you have an offer and you're deciding when you would like to come down. Fees and living costs can vary program to program, but it's good to budget about 15 to 17,000 New Zealand dollars per year for your living expenses, 7 to 8 lakh rupees. We do have scholarships. You need to get an offer of place first, and then you can apply for your scholarship. And some programs also have automatic scholarships where every student that gets entry gets a scholarship. We've also got, I get asked about sports a lot from students here. So yes, we have a lot of sports clubs, whether it's cricket, basketball, football, etc. We've got a gym. We've got 150 clubs and societies on campus. So basically, whatever you're interested in, there is most likely other people that you can share that interest with. Great way to make new friends. And career opportunities is the next part that I get asked about quite often by students. So in New Zealand, we do not have a system for placements like what you have in India. The reason being that in India, placements are very much necessary because it is incredibly competitive to get your first job out of university. There's so many people competing alongside you. In New Zealand, not so necessary. We've got less people, we've got more job opportunities. So we have a career services department that helps to prepare you for the workforce. They will sit down and have one-on-one sessions with you and discuss your options. They will run workshops. You learn everything from how to prepare your CV and cover letter to a professional standard, to how to search for and apply for jobs in your field, to interview techniques to impress potential employers. We do also organize career expos twice a year where companies from the region come in. They are quite major companies. So Google does come and recruit with us. Microsoft does come and recruit with us. Some companies will also shortlist or interview applicants on the day. For some, it'll just be a matter of meeting them and finding out about your options. 95% of our graduates are in full-time employment or further studies 6 months after they finish. And many of the programs at postgraduate level do also include internships to give you industry exposure before you finish your program. So that's what I had in terms of the presentation. So I think we can go onwards to specific program questions now as well.